Good morning. This is Ann Burns with Homestead Farm Center, and this is the first in our series of videos for the Green Thumb Garden Masters class. So you're going to be following along with your handout that you got in your connection kit and your materials to do an experiment today. Today we're talking about seed development and germination, and you got in your kit a little plastic baggie that had probably 5 or 6 of these cowpea seeds. Cowpea is actually a bean. You can eat the bean green, like a green bean, or you could let the pod dry and take out the seeds, and those are also edible. So as you can see, looking in your kit, they are very, very small. This is the size of them, a little smaller than the green beans that you're used to. And another name for these is black-eyed peas. It's kind of a nickname for the cowpea. So if you soak these seeds first, you may be able to do your experiment a little quicker, but it doesn't matter whether you soak them or not. Either way, they will germinate and sprout. Let me show you one that's been soaking for a while. Here is the dry seed that I just took out of the package. And here's one that has been soaking in water. And you can see it's doubled in size. And it actually has, if you can see, a little root has sprouted on the side of the bean seed. So it has actually started to germinate. Now looking at these two plants that I have, this one is about a week old, and you can see that it's already started to develop some root structure. This long root that goes down here is called the tap root. And that's a very, very important root. If you're transplanting a young plant, you have to make sure you get all of the tap root. If you don't, it will affect the development of the plant. You can see here that it has developed what we call cotyledons. And those are the two first leaves that pop out of the seed coat. Here's a little bit of the seed coat adhering to it. I'll just pull that off so you can see those two cotyledons open up like so. And a bean is what's called a dicot. A dicot is a plant that has 2 cotyledons, a pair of cotyledons. If it has just one leaf when it germinates, something like a corn plant, for example, or grass, that's called a monocot because it only has one leaf. Here's one that's a little bit older, and you can see the cotyledons have gotten a little bit bigger. Now these are not actually true leaves. Let me show you on this plant. Again, here are our cotyledons, and they've gotten quite large here, but then there's 2 leaves coming out here that look completely different from the cotyledons. Almost all plants, especially dicots, have cotyledons that look like this, just the round oval. And when they first germinate, it's kind of hard to tell them apart actually. Like a broccoli looks about the same as a basil or a cucumber or whatever. So once it gets its first 2 true leaves, which are right here, you can tell a little bit more of the character of the plant, and you can tell a little bit better what it is that you're growing in the greenhouse. So for our experiment, you're going to take the clear cup that you received in your connection kit, and because this is a cup, not a pot, we have to make some holes in the bottom to allow drainage. So I'm going to take a pair of sharp scissors, and these are pretty soft, so they're easy to cut, but be careful. And you're going to cut a slit in the side, just like so, and you can see that that's made a nice drainage hole, and I'm going to make another one on the other side. You can make 4 small ones or 2 large ones. Either way, it'll work. Okay, so there's my 2 holes. Now I'm going to put some potting soil in the bottom of the cup. And do not use the bag of fertilizer mix that you received in your connection kit. That is mixed with fertilizer. It does have potting soil in it, but it's mixed with fertilizer, and that's for our activity next week. So don't use that. If you don't have any potting soil left over from your Earth Day activity, you can just use some damp paper towels. Just rip them up and put them in the cup about to here, and then have a few more that you're going to put on top of the seed afterwards. So you're going to take your seeds that you received in your baggie, and you're just going to place those on top of the soil, kind of spread them out a little bit. And then you want about a ½ inch more soil, about up to here, to cover those. And you're just going to keep that evenly moist and keep it in a warm place. There are two things that seeds need to germinate properly, and one, of course, is water, moisture, and the other is warmth. They have to be kept warm, and they actually prefer about 70 to 80 degrees, and which is, quite warm. We keep it pretty warm in the greenhouse, and we also use a heat mat under some of our pots to make sure those seeds germinate well. Okay, so next week we'll check back with these seeds, and we'll be looking at something more like this. And later on in the month, we're going to be using our mini greenhouse, and you're going to be starting several different seeds that you can plant either on your porch in a pot, or if you have a garden, you can transplant those out to the garden. But we'll be continuing on with our series for the Green Thumb Garden Masters class. Before we close, I am going to go over the parts of the plant, parts of the seed, excuse me. And if you've had a chance to look at this, you can see that some of our parts that we've already talked about. Here are the two cotyledons, which they have labeled as young leaves. These structures over here on this side are what will form the young root, and together the young leaves and the young root make the embryo of the plant. So this will be the young plant. Inside the seed, there's always a food supply for the seed to use until it gets its leaves and can undergo photosynthesis. As you know, photosynthesis is the production of food for the plant from sunlight and water. And then around the outside, there is always a seed coat that is present to protect the seed until the conditions for germination are right. And those two conditions for germination to take place are water and warmth. So good luck with your bean seed, and I hope you join us next week for our preparation of our garden site. In addition, at the back of your packet is another activity that you might want to try out. This is from North Carolina Extension Service, and it's called Embryo to Chick. And they have a series of videos. We have selected 4 videos, but you could watch the whole series if you like. The link is right here, and we've also included a few activities for you to do with that series. So until we talk next week, have a good time with your bean seed experiment. Bye.